So then talk to us about that then. You had a video on YouTube. Guys, go to his YouTube channel that all of his social media stuff's running across the bottom right now, as well as his website, about training smarter versus harder. What can you tell people about that? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I just think that, I mean, it's kind of like, again, kind of just to compare it to the shooting world. Like, a lot of people want to go to the range and they want to just burn thousands of rounds of ammo and do nothing useful. And the people that are getting good are doing lots of dry fire and they're working on specific skills. I've seen videos where Ben Steger is doing drills where he will just take a couple of shots, step across a stick, and take a couple more shots, and then step across a stick. He's just working movement and transitions, and you break it down into very, very simple little bits, and then when it comes time to perform, all those little bits come together. But it's the same thing. I've always thought that focusing on the individual techniques, focusing on as clean and polished of technique as you can is the way to get it done. You don't have to train super hard. People want to come to the gym and they want to just beat the hell out of each other all day long. And really, I'd rather go light and soft and not necessarily slow, but I want to do the dry fire version of training, right? I want to work through the technique. I want to do it at a fairly slow, not competitive level until my body understands the movement enough that then we can start picking the pace up a little bit and going a little faster and a little harder. But even then, I don't want to go super hard. Like some people like to train at about 90% of what a fight is. That's not healthy. You're gonna get brain damage doing that. That doesn't help.
That's funny that you said that, because we had somebody on recently that was talking about training. If you train at 100%, then when you go into competition, you can consistently compete at your 90% and be consistent, which is key in competitive shooting. So it sounds like your theory behind that is totally different, at least for fighting. And I think that's,
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, basically, like, so let me think how I can explain this. So that's true. So I used to have some guys I shoot with, and we train together, and we would do like cadence drills, right? So I would try to explain it to people like this: if you can shoot under control at 20 splits, but you're doing it and you're seeing the dot and you're putting the shots where you want them at 20 splits, you're moving pretty good. It doesn't matter if you can shoot 15 splits. If you can control it at 20, that's probably fast enough. And it's the same kind of thing. I tell people, when we're working on that, it's kind of like the difference between if you are running at top speed, you're just sprinting down the track at top speed, or you remember when you were a little kid and you'd go running down a hill. Well, you're on the edge of losing it and just eating shit, but you're maybe going faster than you are at a full sprint, right? But you're not in control, or you're barely in control, right? I would rather I'd rather back off a little bit and go a little bit slower, but in 100% control.
Okay.
And so, and in the shooting world, that's what they're looking at. If you can control, if you can run at 90% speed in 100% control, where 100% speed is maybe on the verge out of control, then it's not worth it. It's worth it to slow down.
That's what they're talking about then, isn't it? Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
And so it's kind of the same with fighting, except for the fact that it just takes a horrible toll on your body. The same thing does apply in fighting, but it's not a worthwhile trade to me. If you come into the gym and every single day that you train, it's basically a full-on fight with your friends. You're trying to knock each other unconscious. You're going to develop a level of composure at that level of competition, right? So then when you go into a fight, it's no different than your training, because you've already dealt with that level of adversity, but it's just not healthy. You can't.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy. So same thing. I would rather work at a lower percentage with less impact to my body, and then I can create that anxiety. I can kind of fill the gap myself with my own, just by reacting properly to the way I should. If I'm sparring with somebody and he punches me in the face and he's not hitting me hard, I could just ignore it. But if I want to train properly, I need to treat that punch as if it would hurt me. I need to react properly. I need to treat it, I need to give it proper credit. And if I do that, and my partner does that as well, then we can get a really good we can train really well and not really be getting hurt and getting beat up. But it requires it requires the same focus from both sides.